Hey, this is Ryan from Elite 4 Games. Here is another game review. This one is Charizard versus Gholdengo. We'll see on Charizard's side, he's starting with a Duskull, while on Gholdengo's side, he's starting with a Gimmighoul. Now the most important part about both of these decks is making sure that your attackers do not die in their basic forms. And if they do, you have another one ready to go. That means that for Gholdengo, you want to have at least 2 Gimmighoul, and for Charizard, you want to have at least 2 Charmander. We'll see here that on the Gholdengo side of things, you just put down a Duskull, the second Gimmighoul, and then Nest Ball for the Radiant Greninja, discard an energy, and then Night Stretcher to get that energy back and attach it to the active Pokemon. I don't think that was necessary. You're not really in any danger of your hand getting shuffled away. Chances are the Charizard player is not playing an Iono on their very first turn. If they are, then they're in a pretty bad position as well. They really want to see Arven. Arven is the premier supporter, so playing an Iono on turn 1 would mean that they're in a much worse position than you are for not attaching a Metal Energy to your active Gimmighoul. That being said, on Charizard's turn, we saw that they had 3 Poffin in hand, using the Poffin to fill up their bench with a Cleffa, Pidgey, and 2 Charmander. Again, that 2 Charmander, super critical, and then using the last supporter to get a Lumineon. Now, with their bench the way that it is, you probably don't even need to bench the Lumineon. I would hazard to say that playing the Ultra Ball for the Lumineon wasn't necessary either, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna end the turn with a Cleffa Grasping Draw and pass it over to Gholdengo's second turn. And the Gholdengo will immediately evolve his active Pokemon, and there is a Cypher Maniac in hand. That card can search your deck for any 2 cards that you want, and then put it at the top of your deck. And using Gholdengo's ability, while it's active, you draw 2 cards from your deck. If it's on the bench, you only draw 1. So Cypher Maniac pairs really well with Gholdengo, especially in this instance, where it's the first opportunity that you have to use a supporter. You might as well use a supporter that gets you 2 of any card in your entire deck. The Gholdengo player gonna opt for the Pokestop and the Earthen Vessel. I would have preferred to have seen Rare Candy Dusknoir. I think Rare Candy Dusknoir lets you be way more proactive, and you can get that KO on either the Duskull or the Pidgey. Knocking out the Pidgey means that the Charizard player is out of their main engine for the deck, whereas knocking out the Duskull means that your Togepi will survive. Because right now all it takes is a Dusclops, and don't even need the Rare Candy Dusknoir to knock out Togepi, and Togekiss might end up being super relevant in the future, and if you have Togekiss, knocking out the Cleffa doesn't matter all that much. So you don't really need that energy in hand, knowing that next turn you'll be able to draw more cards, and your Gholdengo is probably safe. Because the only thing that can knock out Gholdengo right now would be Charizard with Defiance Band after Duskull does a knockout. So you have a lot to consider there, but ultimately I don't think the Pokestop was correct. I think it should have been Rare Candy Dusknoir. That's okay. And then on the Charizard's turn, you can see here that the Pidgeot gets set up, the Duskull gets set up, the Togepi gets knocked out, and there's a reset stamp. Or an unfair stamp, sorry. So now the Charizard player is in a fantastic position. They just set the Gholdengo down to 2 cards, they've got the Pidgeot out, they're drawing 3 more cards with Pheasantipity, they're evolving the Charmander into a Charmeleon, but there's no attack. Gonna get the Stretcher off of the Pokestop to get back the Duskull, and then just put more pressure on. I think that's correct. I do like the way that this is all going out. And then Super Rod back 2 energies plus the Dusclops. Next turn you can Pidgeot for the Dusclops, and if that Togepi comes back, it's not back for long, effectively shutting off Togekiss for the entire game now. With the Collapse Stadium, he does remove his Lumineon as a liability, but more importantly, he removes the Pokestop from play. So the Gholdengo does not have that as an option next turn. At least not without drawing into another one off of 3 cards. So passing over to Gholdengo, there is stuff that he can do. He did draw into the Irida for turn. There's a Rare Candy in hand and a Roxanne. So he's going to Irida, and I think the play here is to do Energy Surge Pro, because you need to thin out your deck. You need to be able to draw with Greninja, draw with Gholdengo, and try and hit some crucial cards. Like you're looking for now, like an Ultra Ball since you have the discard fodder. so that you can get a Gholdengo for the active position. You're looking for Pokestop to try and get you more cards. You're looking for another supporter for next turn. Like, there's a bunch of things that you need to get out of this position. So just pure card volume, card advantage is the way to go in that situation. But that all came about because of a really smart heads-up play by the Charizard player last turn to counter-catcher out the Gimme Ghoul with 2 retreat cost. So the Gholdengo player can't just attach to the active Gimme Ghoul and retreat. Now, something else to consider, again, Charizard player is playing this fantastic with that Duskull on the bench that I mentioned before. The Gholdengo player now had to consider, is it worth using Stretcher for the Togepi, knowing that Togepi is just going to die next turn with a quick search off of Pidgeot for the Dusclops to knock out the Togepi. And the Gholdengo player has decided it is not worth it to bench the Togepi, and I would agree with him. Also, Collab Stadium is in play, so he can't do that anyway. So nothing else that he can do, he will just pass. Now, he does have a pretty good hand now. He's got a lot of energy. He'll be able to draw with Greninja, get 2 more cards. He'll be able to draw another card with the bench Gholdengo, and get something out of those top 3 cards, like Pokestop, Ultra Ball, Gholdengo, something. Just lots of outs, lots of potential outs. So now, the Charizard player, again, playing fantastic Pokemon right now. Quick searches for the Iono, moves all those energy to the bottom of the deck. The Gholdengo player just spent his whole last turn using his A-Spec to get those into his hand. Now they're gone again. Attached a fire energy to the Charmander for that retreat in case it needed to. But Iono obviously draws 4 cards, and that does give Gholdengo the Pokestop. So off of the Pokestop, he does get the Ultra Ball, which does lead into the Gholdengo, which it does lead into drawing 2 cards and then a 3rd card. And you'll see it's just kind of snowballing from here. He's got the Cypher Maniac in hand that'll allow him to get the Rare Candy Dusknoir into play, knock out the bench Charmeleon, attach an energy to the active Gholdengo, and knock out that Charmander. So it's important to sequence this all correctly. He will need to first use Cypher Maniac to get the Dusknoir and the Rare Candy at the top of his deck, use the Rescue Stretcher on the energy in the discard pile in order to draw those 2 cards with Greninja. Then he'll be able to use the Rare Candy with the Dusknoir to knock out the benched Charmeleon. Next, use the Superior Energy Retrieval, get energies back into the hand to knock out the active Charmander. And we'll see here that he declares his attack without attaching an energy for turn yet, but that's okay, we can just retroactively attach that Metal Energy to the Gholdengo. And he notices it right about now. There it is. Alright, now we can start the Charizard turn. So, for the Charizard player, they can only attack with 2 Pokemon this turn. It has to be either Radiant Charizard, or they need to use Thornton and a Rare Candy in order to get Charizard EX into play. There's no other way to get a knockout on the active Gholdengo. And if that active Gholdengo stays alive, the Charizard player will probably be too far behind to come back. Now, Gholdengo with 260 HP can be knocked out by 2 Dusknoir, however, with only 2 prizes remaining, that would just end the game immediately. So the Charizard player doesn't want to do that, they can only attack with Radiant Charizard or Charizard EX. So using a combination of Super Rod and Ultra Ball, he was able to get Lumineon back, which can net him an Iono, and that will set the Gholdengo player to 2 cards. The Radiant Charizard is also online, so the active Gholdengo will be disposed of, with the Gholdengo player not having many resources available to him. He will need a Metal Energy to attack with, multiple energies in hand in order to get a knockout, and we'll see how he deals with that. With the Vacuum taking away another Pokestop, it's gonna be tough. Oh wait, that's right, there's a Metal Energy attached to the Gholdengo. It was the first active Pokemon that got counter-catchered to the bench. I'll need to give a gentle reminder to my players to always stack their energy on their Pokemon on a way that everyone can see them, because right now with the way that Gholdengo is, you can't tell that there's an energy on it. We just have to remember that. Which, if you're coming into a game or if you're thinking about your own deck a bunch, it's really easy to miss that, and it feels kind of slimy. Not saying that that was the intention of this Gholdengo player, I know him very well, and that's not the kind of guy he is at all, it's just the way that he stacks his Pokemon. But especially on camera, I'll make sure that the energies are always visible moving forward. Now, that being said, There's a lot that he can do this turn. There are many draws that he'll get him to places that he wants. So if he's able to get a boss plus superior energy retrieval, the game is over. He just bosses the Luminion, gets 4 energy from the discard pile, and the Luminion is gone. If not, the most important thing this turn is preventing the Charizard player from taking 2 prizes next turn. The Radiant Charizard has to remain active, unable to attack or retreat, and he has to limit the Charizard player's resources. Roxanne is fantastic, limiting the Charizard player's hand to 3 cards and then not attacking so that Pheasantipity can't draw. I like this play on using the Night Stretcher on the Duskull just to make it easier on his next turn to set up a 2-prize KO. If the Charizard player had a switch, the game would be over. He could switch the Radiant Charizard to Pidgeot, free retreat back, and KO the Gholdengo for the last 2 prizes. Alas, there is no switch. But he can still evolve into Charizard, and with 3 energy in the deck and 1 in hand, he would be able to retreat and attack with the Charizard EX for game. He could accelerate 2 energy to the active Radiant Charizard, 1 to the Charizard EX itself, attach the last to the Charizard EX, pay the 3 retreat cost on the Radiant Charizard, and then he's able to attack, and deal 300 damage to the Gholdengo. Unfortunately, I see at least 2 fire energy in hand and 1 in the discard pile, meaning that there's not 3 fire energies available from the deck. So the only option now is to stall. He'll need to evolve his Charmander to Charizard and Dusclops to Dusknoir in order to prevent the Gholdengo player's Dusknoir from taking an easy KO and only requiring a KO on the active Radiant Charizard for his last prize. By evolving his Pokemon, he forces the Gholdengo player to have that gusting effect. So you'll see here, this is what the Charizard player is opting to do. He will search for his deck using Quick Search for the Charizard EX, and he will use the Rare Candy to evolve the Charmander, removing that liability on the bench. He'll then attach the 1 fire energy from hand and evolve his Dusknoir into Dusclops. It is now the final turn of the game. Gholdengo needs a gusting effect to target a 2-prize Pokemon. He can use Dusknoir to knock itself out and set his opponent to 1 prize card remaining, giving him the option to countercatcher a benched Pokemon instead of requiring the boss. Smart Search with Poffin to confirm that the countercatcher is indeed in the deck. He will then use his draw power coupled with Irida to tutor the game-winning card out. So he opts for the Charizard EX because he has enough energy in hand to assert his dominance, but the better play is to target the Luminion. Then he would only require 1 energy from hand in order to claim victory. It was a well-played game by both players, and a pretty fun match to commentate over. Hope you guys enjoyed.